Hello everyone. In this video, you're going to see how to configure Microsoft Azure Translation Spoke. In the previous video, I have shown you how to set up the translation service in Azure portal. You can, if you have not seen it, you can see the description where I have mentioned the link, as well as you can see there is an icon in the left side, which you can click and go to the video and watch it. I have also published an article on my site, which you can follow to do end-to-end integration. Okay, coming back to this setup of the spoke within ServiceNow, there are some prerequisites which we need. What we need is um, dynamic translation plugin activated. So here you can see I have this installed dynamic translation plugin along with Microsoft Azure Translation Spoke. We need to activate that as well. But if you activate this whole service, it will activate 7 other plugins as well for you. Now there is one more prerequisite. To use this book, you need obviously dynamic translation, but along with that, you need a ServiceNow subscription which is professional and above, which includes dynamic translation. If you have a confusion around it, please contact your account manager. He can then let you know whether you are eligible to use this particular spoke or not. Okay. Now, assuming that you have activated this spoke, like I have activated this spoke and installed it, let's go to the instance again. So what you have to do is first you have to configure the connection. So you have to put the credentials in ServiceNow. Now to put the credentials in ServiceNow, it is mandatory that you look at my previous video because we need key and endpoint from Azure portal. Okay, let's go to Flow Designers. So if you go to Flow Designer, you will see a connection section. And in this connection section, you can type, let's say, for example, Microsoft. If you type micro, you will see this Microsoft translation service appearing. Click on it. Once you click on it, you can either click on view connection alias or you can click on edit. But for now, I will click on this. It will take me here. Here you can see I have configured a connection. Let's go to that connection. Here you can see this is the URL which we are using. So this is the connection URL which will do a API dynamic translation API calls to Azure portal, do the translation, get the results back to us. Okay. Now this is a global API. This is a global URL. You can also find this URL on the steps which ServiceNow has mentioned on the docs. This particular thing is optional. We don't have to provide it. If you are using a specific region, then you have to provide it. And this is the version of the translation spoke. Along with this, you can see we have credentials here. So I'm just going to go and open the credentials. Now, this is the key which I have taken from the Azure portal. There are 2 keys. You can save both the keys and you can use both any one of those both the keys and save it for your future references as well, maybe in a password vault or somewhere. Once the credentials are created, once the credential alias is created, what we have to do is we have to go to the instance again. We have to type dynamic configure dynamic translations, for example, and then open this translation configurations. Here you can see we have 3 because I have activated IBM, I have activated ServiceNow's one, and I have also activated the Azure one. We are interested in Microsoft Azure one. So once you activate it, let me change my scope to this. So what happens is when in the first place, when you come and activate the dynamic translation plugin, you will see this as inactive. So you have to come here, activate this translation. If you want to make it as default, you can make it as default. I have made it default because we have only one. If you want to mark it as default for detections also, you can do it. But for me, we are not using any detection thing. That's the reason I have not done it. I'm only focusing on the translation at the moment. So this is how you do the setup. Very easy. you have to configure the credential alias. I'm repeating it again just for the listeners. Configure the credential alias by going to the flow designers, create credentials, map them, and then come to the dynamic translation configuration and activate it. Once the setup is done, now it's time for testing. So how to what is the significance or why we did all this setup and everything? The reason is this. So you can type translation. In the knowledge management, you can see we have, let's say, all open task. Go there. I'm going to open the first one. Here you can see I want to translate the article from Spanish to Dutch. For this reason, what I'm going to do is click on translate. Once you click on translate, you will see that now translate from is Spanish to Dutch, but the short description and article body is still in Spanish. What I have to do is I have to click on machine translate, then I have to click on OK. Once I click on OK, you can see it has translated it automatically to the Dutch language. And then from here, the knowledge manager or the person who owns the article can create a draft article, take it through the approval process, and then publish it. So this is how we use this. There is one more thing where we use this is, let's say, for example, I'm going to create a new incident, right? Then I'm going to say, okay, I have to, let's say this, testing, and save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some comments which are in, let's say, for example, a different language. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give my podcast name here, and then I'm going to save this. Once I save this, you can see I have a translate option here, right? And if I click on this, you can see it has translated to my system language. So right now, this was in Dutch, but my system language is English, so it has translated this to English. So this is how, this Azure translation service and the spoke is used to translate the things dynamically. Just imagine how fast it is, how quick it is, how accurate it is. Because if you want to translate this, the normal human being, what he does is he copies the text, he goes to the Google Translate, selects the language, does the translation there. But here everything is automated, which is very, very efficient and very, very productive because you are saving the time here to do the dynamic translations. So we are to the end of this video. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. One last thing, do subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos and articles, and also sign up yourself into the mailing list of my site and my blogs. See you guys in the next video. Thanks.